it is time to get started. Anytime now. Hey, welcome to AtTheTrack.live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, downforce, a whole range of topics. After I have taught the students the science, after we've conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student selects a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the program. Once they've selected their car, they examine their car, they take a picture of their car, they shoot a video of their car, they weigh the car, they test the speed of their cars. They do all of these things, and then they enter that information into a spreadsheet. They observe everything they can observe about the car, and then it is time to take the cars to the track. They set up a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. And they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again or make a different choice? So we have fun with Hot Wheels cars. We learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, you can visit our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can find us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics there as well. And all of the information and links that you need are in the bio. And you can also give us a follow and keep up with whatever is happening new with All About Aerodynamics. But this is not All About Aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents AtTheTrack.live. So what is AtTheTrack.live? Well, before I can bring in all of those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I know which cars I'm bringing to the students so I can bring those same cars back, put them in the right place, and make them available for the next group. And to do that, I have to enter the information about the cars into my own master spreadsheet. I have to take a picture of the car. I have to shoot a little video of the car so that it is available online, because there's an online version of All About Aerodynamics. And I have hundreds of cars that I've picked up and have not introduced into the fleet that are sitting in storage boxes. So every week I go into the storage boxes, I pull out some of those cars and crack those open, take a look at those, do a little review, get my picture, get my video, enter the information into the spreadsheet, and then ready to race. Because since we've already got the cars out, since the track is already set up, we might as well have a little race. And that is what we do. We take the cars out to the track and see which car is the fastest of the new cars that have been entered into the fleet. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate by going to AtTheTrack.live, and you have 3 options. One is the YouTube stream link, one is the Twitch stream link, which you don't need because you're already here or you're watching later. But the third option is the most important option. The third option says choose a car. And if you select that option, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will see all of the cars currently in the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet listed, cataloged and numbered, and you can find a car that you think would be faster than the cars that I have introduced into the fleet. And all you have to do is click on the car to take a closer look. So let's say you think that this Aeropod truck thing is going to be fast. Well, I don't know why you would think that, but let's say you think that. And you decide you want to select the Aeropod, and you want the Aeropod to be the car that you take to the track. Then all you have to do is take the number, in this case 251. You'll take that, drop it into the chat. I will pull that car, and after I pull that car, then we will see if you were correct. Is the car that you picked faster than the car that was, or than the other cars that were introduced? And is the car that you picked going to be faster than the other cars that other viewers picked? So there are currently, I just finished getting everything together last night in terms of making sure all the cars were in their exact right places, and we currently have 861 cars in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet. 861 different Hot Wheels cars for you to choose from Bugattis to Batmobiles, and you see right here. We have every single type and kind of Hot Wheels car. We might not have the exact car, but we have a car similar to that, guaranteed. There are 861 different cars to choose from. There are fantasy cars, there are cars from the 80s, cars from the 70s, cars from the 90s, the 2000s, and some cars that were just released in the last few weeks. There are trucks, there are character cars, there are ice cream trucks, there are taco trucks, there are a couple of Minecraft related cars, there are dozens, more than a dozen Batmobiles, more than a dozen Lamborghinis. We have a rubber ducky car, we have an old school Roger Dodger, we have a tank. Actually, we have two tanks in the fleet. So we have cars that are designed to mimic boats and hovercrafts and airplanes. So whatever kind of car, we've got a donut, boom, right here. We've got the donut drifter, there it is. We've got another car that's a Jello mold, there's a hot dog car. So if food cars are what you're into, we've got those. No matter what kind of Hot Wheels car it is that you're into, that you prefer, we have that represented. Let's say you like the 86 Monte Carlo SS. Boom. We have an 86 Monte Carlo SS right there, ready for you to pick. Let's say you are more into old school, well, sticking in the 80s. 84 Pontiac Firebird, even though this one was made more recently, but we do have a Firebird that is actually a Hot Wheels car that was made in the 80s. So if that's what you want, we've got it. Black Panther, we've got that. The Black Panther Racerverse car is right there waiting for you. Maybe you like big trucks, Jeeps. We've got a 2020 Jeep Gladiator with two motorcycles in the back. Not going to help it be faster on the track, but it looks cool. Camaros, Subarus. Maybe you're into like wild fantasy lowrider style gangster cars. Okay, well, we've got the Evil Twin right there. We have so many different types of cars. The Little Mermaid, anyone? We've got this Ariel car, which actually isn't a bad pick because these fantasy cars have some pretty unique designs and style, body styles, and some of the curves that they have tend to make them better aerodynamically, better picks, because their aerodynamic profiles end up creating less drag. And any of these cars that can reduce the amount of drag are going to have a better shot at being faster on the track. And This aerial car has raced before, and I think it's a solid pick. Now, with the character cars, one of the things to remember is, and to keep in mind, is that they sometimes they're typically premium cars, and as a result of it being a premium car, there is usually going to be more metal than plastic. And if there's more metal on the car, it's going to tend to weigh more. It's hard to tell here how much of this is metal, but it looks like this purple part is metal, and the base is probably metal. So this car may, despite it having a great aerodynamic profile, the weight may be something that causes a problem for it in the end, if that's the car that you decide to pick. So there are, again, 861 different cars. We've got 2 different Iron Man cars. The only reason we have 2 of these is because they are slightly different. So we have, I think we called this one the Iron Dome or Golden Dome Iron Man, and this one was the standard Iron Man car. We had a face-off between these 2 cars, probably at least a year ago, and that can be seen on our YouTube channel. You can just go to the live tab, and all of the old episodes of AtTheTrack.live are there, and we're approaching our 100th episode. I need to double check, but that is something that is coming up, so I'll have to try and figure out something unique or special to do there. Here's another Batmobile just sitting there. This is the muscle car inspired Batmobile from the Batman movie, the most recent, the most recent Batman movie. So again, 861 cars for you to choose from. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, and then you will be taken to this page where you can sort through all of the cars. And in the event that you have a car that you know the name of, but you can't find it in here, and you don't want to look through 861 cars to find the one car that you're looking for, you can just send me a message and ask me, hey, Coach James, do you have whatever the car is? And I will check my spreadsheet and let you know. The search function that's offered by the web hosting company Squarespace that I use is just no good and does not work, and they don't seem to be interested in fixing it. So I would love to have a search bar where you can just type in the name of the car that you're looking for and boom, it comes up. That's not the case, so until I can find some kind of workaround, the best I can do is if you know the name of your car, then just let me know and I will look it up for you. But here's another one, this 15 Mazda MX-5 Miata. That was one of our fastest in fleet cars, meaning it was the car that won the Saturday tournament and went on to represent the championship status, the #1 fastest car in the weeks that followed. But ultimately it was beaten out because our current fastest in fleet car is this one. It is the, if I can get this switched over, there we go. It is this one. It is the BlitzSpeeder, and the BlitzSpeeder is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. It has been our fastest in fleet car now for about 2 months, and this is its second run as fastest in fleet champion. It was the fastest in fleet car for 17 weeks in the fall of 2024, and then it was beaten out in late November by the Gazella R, and the Gazella R went on a run of 16 weeks, and then in that 17th week we had a rematch between the Gazella R and the BlitzSpeeder, and the BlitzSpeeder beat the Gazella R badly and reclaimed its title. And the Gazella R had to step aside. The BlitzSpeeder has faced little to no serious competition in the last couple of months. Our races are best 2 out of 3, and the BlitzSpeeder has not even lost one of the 2 of the 3. But it has been beating cars by such wide margins that it seems like it's going to be pretty tough to find a car that is faster than the BlitzSpeeder. But that is what we are going to be doing today as we introduce new cars. And I am going to start off with a car that I picked up not too long ago. It is this one. It's called the Hako Type D. And let's see. The information on the back suggests this is a fantasy car. The Hako Type D, born in 2024 in El Segundo, California, right down the street. Designer Hot Wheels. Imagine it's the 1980s, you're cruising in the latest JDM Icon. It's the hottest car on the street, featuring sporty proportions, pop-down headlights, and race car-inspired windows. So it's kind of a JDM fantasy Hot Wheels car here. But we are going to see how it does on the track. But let's crack it open and take a closer look at the Hako Type D, our 863rd car. All right, and we will check the weight, because we know that the BlitzSpeeder weighs in at 32.4 grams, and the Hako Type D comes in at 34.3. So it's a little heavier than our Champ, but not so much that there's any concern that the weight is going to be a problem. So let's drop this on here, and let's switch on over to close-up view of the Hako Type D, and I will grab the video first as the car comes around. And this isn't one of those cars that I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just, I mean, the styling is, I mean, it's cool. I like what they did. Something different. The yellow with the yellow windows, and they were very subtle with the design, with the kind of with the white and gold and black. I like that. Nothing wrong with this car. There's nothing about it that makes me think this is going to be the car, but you never know, which is why we always have to take the cars to the track, because sometimes the cars that you aren't thinking about, that you don't expect much from, are the cars that end up being the surprise, which is what we found out last week with the Ain't Fair, that bus that kind of came out of nowhere and surprised us by beating out the Corvette Gasser, and then taking one of 2 races from one of 3 races from the Lamborghini. So you never know. The Hako Type D, maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but I think it'll perform fine. If it ends up in the finals, I mean, I haven't really taken a look at the other cars, but there are 2 cars that 2 viewers picked that are going to be racing, and I think those 2 cars probably have a better shot of making it to the finals than the Hako Type D, but you never know, which is why we are always going to take the cars to the track and get all these questions settled. Now I just need to get a still picture of the Hako Type D, and we will zoom on in here and get this focus locked in. And just need to drop in a little bit of fill light. Oop, before I take this picture. Looks good. And the Hako Type D is the latest car to be introduced into the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet. So we've got the Hako Type D. And let me check the manufacturing year. That is 2024. So we are good to go with our first car, the Hako Type D 2024. And that is car number 862. 862 cars. That's a lot of cars. A lot of cars. I mean, I know there are Hot Wheels collectors who have 2-3 times that many cars. But have they taken the time to catalog those cars? That's the part that impresses me about the 862 cars. It's not that I've obtained and purchased 862 cars. It's that they've been documented and cataloged. And if you go to any of those cars on the list, within a matter of a minute or two, I can go and pull that car. And so I like having the cars organized and being able to find them. I remember when I was first coming up with working on the idea for All About Aerodynamics and AtTheTrack.live, I needed to catalog the cars. And at the time, my son and I took all of the cars we had, dumped them into a big pile, and just started one by one cataloging these cars. And it took a while for us to do, and it was boring and tedious, but once it was done, it was I'm glad we did it. So 862 cars with the Hako Type D. So now we are ready to get into which car is next. I guess we're going to stick with this because all of these sort of Japanese import cars, or the fantasy cars inspired by Japanese import cars, have this little icon here. And so it just so happens that one of the other cars that I pulled also has that icon, and it is this one, the Subaru BRZ. And any information about it? Nope. A dream collection, just the Hot Wheels Japanese imports. Dream collection of Japanese domestic market vehicles, and this is one, the Subaru BRZ. It's a good looking car, so let's crack this open and take a look at it. And let's see, we have, let me check the weight. This car weighs 32.6 grams, so it's very close in weight to the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is 32.4 grams. This one is 32.6, so pretty close. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap out the background because the blue on blue makes it a little hard to see. So I'm going to go right here, drop this in. Get a little contrast there, and then let me drop in the fill light. Kind of highlight this car. It's a good looking car, and boom. All right, we've got the still picture. Now just need to grab this video. Oh, wrong way. Coming back the other way. And we are going to lock this in. And grab the video. So let me enter this. This is car number 863. This is the Subaru BRZ, and I didn't check the manufacturing year, but this is a good looking car. I like, so far we've had two cars where there's a lot of detail in terms of the paint. We've got the Subaru logo, the racing number. We've got the little purple accents along the door panels and side panels. I like the white wheels, more contrast, and it plays off that white Subaru logo and the white stripe beneath that. So it's a good looking car, but more importantly for racing purposes, we're looking at the back end and that big wing in the back. We've seen cars with wings high, those kind of tall, big shopping cart wings that are at the roof line, and this one definitely is, and that is helpful because that wing is going to press up right against the launching block, and cars that have more surface area pressed up against that launching block tend to do better because they get better launches, more consistent launches. And this car has that going for it. Now, are the other factors going to work in its favor? We haven't put this in the wind tunnel yet, because we've just opened it up. And if you are really interested to see kind of when I'm talking about the aerodynamic profiles of these cars, you should tune in on Wednesday, Wind Tunnel Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. We on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, we take these cars and put them into the Funtech Labs 1/64 scale wind tunnel, the Winsible, and we turn that wind tunnel on, and it blows smoke over, under, and around the car, and we can see how the air is flowing over the cars, and from that view we can make determinations about the amount of drag that the car is going to experience as it moves down the track, and we can check it at different speeds, because with the custom launcher that I built, the cars get fired out at an extremely high rate of speed, and the faster objects move through the air, the more they are impacted by drag, and therefore having a good aerodynamic profile that reduces the amount of drag is key to performing well on the track. So this car, at least the one thing that we do know is that it has this big wing in the back, and that big wing is going to help it get a good launch. What happens after that is anybody's guess, but we won't have to guess for long, because we are going to take this car to the track, and we will find out all that we need to know once we get there. Let me check the manufacturing year. Speaking of all I need to know, the manufacturing year is 2019. So I will enter that information into the spreadsheet, and there we go. We have the Hako Type D. We have the Subaru BRZ, and we are ready to find our next car. So one car that I was going to introduce, and I still may, but I'm going to wait a little bit, is this one, this Mazda MX-5 Miata. And this was one of the Legends Tour, the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. This was the winner. And if you're not familiar with the Legends Tour, it is where the sort of car building hobbyists and car enthusiasts can build a car, their version of a real world Hot Wheels car. And so they build the car in cities around the world, and there's the Legends Tour, and it goes from city to city. And if it comes to your city, then you should go check it out, because you can see these cars in person, all the custom cars in that area that are competing to hopefully one day win the competition and become a Hot Wheels car. So at each stop, there are multiple cars, and then the judges come out and they pick the winner at each stop. And then at the end of the year, they take all of the cars that have won and they judge those cars, and there is a winner. And the winning car is then turned into a Hot Wheels car. So this was the winner from the 2023 Legends Tour, and it says, conquering the competition, the 2023 Hot Wheels Legends Tour champion, Chimera, is a 1990 Mazda MX-5 Miata that has been reimagined as a home-built cyberpunk dream car. So, this was the car that was the winner. Now, the only reason I haven't cracked this open yet is because I'm not blown away by the color scheme. And now there's some lime green accents that you can't see because of the green screen, so it's looking like just kind of fuzzy right here. But it's basically just a gray car with these lime green accents. And what I know about Hot Wheels, if nothing else, is that they are not going to just make one version of a car. And so what I'm going to do is wait, because I'm pretty sure they are going to come out with other versions of this that are different colors. And so I'm going to hold off on introducing this one into the fleet, because I'm going to wait to see if we can get one that's in, I don't know, just something different. This just looks a little drab, and I think with these darker colors, sometimes it makes it harder to see some of the design elements, and they don't really kind of pop out, and they're easy to overlook. So I'm going to hold off on this Mazda MX-5 Miata until I can find a different version. And I don't know if there's a different version already out there or how long I'm going to have to wait. But since this says new for 2025, I expect I'll probably have to wait later into the year before I get the opportunity to actually find another. So we'll keep that one in mind, but off to the side for now. And let's see if I have, what else do I have? We can go with, how about this? How about this 68 El Camino? And I'm going to double check, because I definitely know that there are El Caminos in the fleet already, but I just want to make sure that I am not pulling in a duplicate. We have 68. We have a 68 Chevy Nova, a 68 Capo Camaro, a 68 Corvette Gas Monkey, Garage Corvette, 68 Dodge Dart, Mercury Cougar, Barracuda, and that is it. So, let me check El Camino just to make, let me check 1968, which is always a possibility. 1968 Mazda Cosmo Sport. Okay, so we don't have one. So this is going to be the next car that is introduced. It is going to be this 68 El Camino. And let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look. Okay, check the weight. Well, first, the manufacturing year is 1999 and 2014. It's listed, so. All right, let's check the weight. It's weighing in at 34.4 grams. So that is the 68 El Camino. Let's get it up here on the turntable. And I can remove this background. And let's take a look. All right. Controls are a little, switchers being a little temperamental, but here we go. Now with this car, we've got this big, you've got the engine in the back, in the bed part of the El Camino. And that's obviously unique, a unique design element that we've got going on there. And so we will, I don't know how that's going to impact the car. I doubt that it's going to help in terms of the aerodynamics, but as we've seen with the cars when we put them in the wind tunnel on Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, that cars that are more traditionally designed, so especially in this case because this is a real car, there are, where the windshield and hood meet, the airflow, the air comes up over the hood, it hits the windshield and then proceeds up, and then when it gets to that roof line, depending on the angles, the air either detaches from the body of the car right there at the roof line, or it adheres to the body of the car and continues on towards the back end. With this one, I'm pretty sure that the airflow would detach from the car, and what happens when that occurs is that it creates a pressure differential that creates pressure drag, which is a force that ultimately slows the car down. It works against the direction the car is moving, and just like with friction drag, which is the drag that's caused when the air is just moving across the surface of the car, the goal and the idea is to reduce the impact of the drag. And the pressure drag is one of the things that will work to slow a car down, but and especially more of the traditionally designed cars don't have that option. When you look at the BlitzSpeeder, the air is flowing from the front of the car, up the hood, up the windshield, to the roof, across the back, and then off the car. It's ideal, and you should tune in to Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And it is interesting to see the airflow of the with the cars in the wind tunnel, the way that the air flows over, under, and around the cars, and then looking at how those cars perform on the track. And we're starting to see, we've done enough of these wind tunnel tests to start, oh, here we go with the overheating from that camera. So still have no idea why that particular camera is the only one that regularly overheats. Now I get it that there's a number of lights over there, but that shouldn't be a factor. Anyway, we'll let that cool off and then it'll come back on. But what we see in the wind tunnel is we can see how the air is flowing over, under, and around the cars. Then on Saturdays, we take the cars to the track, and then we can see how they perform. And we're starting to be able to see some correlation between certain things we observe in the wind tunnel and performance on the track. Cars that have, where's the BlitzSpeeder? Cars that have, you can see right here that the roof line and the windshield is very, that angle, it's almost non-existent. I mean, there's a bit of an angle up right here where between the hood and the windshield, then to the roof. But what we are not seeing is what we would see on a traditional car, like this El Camino, where right here, we're going from the hood and then boom, you have the windshield, which is going to, the air is going to flow up, it's going to hit this windshield, and then eventually it's going to come up over the top. But if you compare that to a car like the BlitzSpeeder, you can see exactly what the difference is, but it's easier to visualize when we put the cars in the wind tunnel. And all I'm saying is I think that based on the profile of this El Camino, it's going to create this pressure drag, and that is going to slow it down, and it is going to prevent it from performing well on the track. But again, I'm being presumptuous because I didn't think that bus would do much. I didn't think that the Minecraft minecart would do much. I didn't think that the Minecraft creeper would do. I didn't even think that would stay on the track necessarily. But some of these cars perform better than I expected, and again, you just never know. So we are 3 cars in so far. We've got the Hako Type D. We've got the the Subaru BRZ, and we have the 68 El Camino. So we also have 2 other cars that were picked by viewers earlier this week, and so we will be introducing those. But we also need to introduce at least one more car into the fleet, and should we go with, let's see, I think we're gonna do it, even though I don't know. I guess that, so last week when we raced the Ain't Fair, the bus, this one, now, here, the Ain't Fair, this bus was a surprise because it actually won. It won 3 races, and I had no expectation that it would do that because of its poor aerodynamic profile. It is just a rectangle on wheels, and because this car was so surprising, when I was going through the storage, I decided, you know what? If this rectangle on wheels can do the job, then why not another rectangle on wheels? So I pulled out this Matchbox Firetruck. It's actually technically the Scania P 360 Firetruck, and it's got a few things working against it. Number one, it's a Matchbox car, and Matchbox car, despite the fact that they're all made by Mattel, Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars are made by Mattel. We rarely have a Matchbox car that performs well on the track. And I don't know what the reason for that necessarily is. I don't know how the Matchbox car construction is different from that of Hot Wheels cars. But the fact remains that Matchbox cars on our track just really have had a hard time, except for there's been 1 or 2. There was a Bugatti that did pretty well, and another car that I'm forgetting the name or type of car, but we've had a few cars here and there that have done well. But in general, Matchbox cars just don't get the job done on our track. So we're going to see if this Scania P 360 Firetruck, can it live up to the Ain't Fair and the bar that the Ain't Fair set for big rectangular buses / fire trucks. Can the Scania get the job done? We are going to find out. So let's crack this thing open. And see. The other thing is the Matchbox cars, I don't know this for certain, but they seem to be where Hot Wheels cars have a lot of plastic bodies on metal bases. This Matchbox, this is a metal body on a plastic base. And I think that's one of the things that the Ain't Fair had going for it, is that with the Ain't Fair, the entire body is plastic. The base is plastic, the sides are plastic, front and back. It's only this top purple roof part that is metal, and even that has a hole cut out in the middle like a sunroof. So it's just got this little bit of metal. Its weight was very light. The Ain't Fair weighed in at 37.2 grams, which is just outside the kind of sweet spot in terms of car weight. Meanwhile, the Scania Firetruck is weighing in at a massive 50.2 grams. 50.2 grams. And that is definitely because of all of the metal that is on this thing. So, I mean, I've put this truck in a bad position. The Ain't Fair set the bar really high for these things, and I think that this Firetruck is going to bring that bar right back down to earth. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. And see, oh, well, I guess I need to see if that camera has finished being temperamental. Can I fire it back up? Seems that I can. And we are now back up and going to take a look at the Scania Firetruck. I'll go ahead and see if I can shoot the video, if this thing can stay. Can it stay on long enough to, can it stay cool long enough to get this video? And I will enter this into the fleet. 865. This is the Scania P 360 Firetruck, and I didn't check the manufacturing year, but man, 50 grams. This may be, I'm trying to think, have we had a car at 50 grams in the fleet before? It's possible, but trying to think which car. It would obviously have to be a metal on metal car, and that would typically be the older cars. So the older Hot Wheels cars that were metal on metal usually will be in that high 40s, but 50 grams is a lot for a Hot Wheels car, especially when we're talking about the sweet spot, the place you want to be in terms of being a competitive car, is in that range of 32 to 36 grams, but 50 grams is just outrageous. But like I said, with the Ain't Fair, the difference between that one and this one is that it's the construction, and that makes the difference, because that Ain't Fair only weighed 37 grams. This one weighs 50 grams, and they are about the same size and shape, but the fact that this one is, all this white part is metal, that's the difference. With the Ain't Fair, like I showed, it was all plastic and hollow on the inside, so it kept the weight down. And that was one of the things that I think kind of worked in its favor in the races and why it performed the way it did. But now we are looking at this Firetruck. This, turn it just a little bit. This is a vehicle that has no shot. I don't even, like I said, I don't even know if we've ever had a vehicle this heavy. It's possible, but very few. It would have to be metal on metal, and this is about as bad as it can get. So we're gonna see how it performs, but we already know. We know it's not gonna win. But if we put it side by side with the Ain't Fair, you see that there's not a lot of there's not a lot of difference in terms of the dimensions, and the Ain't Fair looks to be like it may be even wider. But the fact that it only has this metal part right here on the top with a hole cut in it, everything else is plastic, that definitely made a difference. So we're going to see what happens, but we definitely know that this big, heaviest of heavy fire trucks is not going to be standing in the number one spot at the end of the day. Hey, Rough Shot, how you doing? Yeah, we're just about to pull up your Croc Rod, so right on time. And let me put in the year for that Firetruck, 2017. And before we hit the track, if there is a car that you want to see race, as I mentioned, just go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose a car option. You will be taken to this page, and on this page, 861 different cars are there for you to pick from. 861 fantasy cars, real cars, buses, alligator. We have crocodiles. We have dinosaur cars. We have convertibles. We have sharks. We have piranhas. We have whatever this is, the road cannibal. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but whatever it is, we've got it. Batmobiles, Star Wars cars, any kind of car you can think of is well represented. And if it's not the exact car you're looking for, we have one similar. So if you know the name of the car, but you don't want to search through all 861, you can just give me the name of the car, and I can check the spreadsheet and see. We've got the roller toaster with 2 pieces of bread popping out of the top. Okay. Another dinosaur car. Just any kind of car you can think of, we have some version of it. It may not be the exact car, but we have a car that's similar, and who knows, we may have the exact car. So if you have a car that you want to see race, just find it and drop the number in the chat, and I will pull it. If you think it's this Shadow Jet 2, then all you have to do is put the number into the chat, and in this case it's 487. Now the Shadow Jet is another one it's an older car, I think probably like the 90s, but it's metal on metal. So all this black part and this black and red part is metal, the base is metal, and that made it heavy. And that's, the 3 factors that are working against the cars: gravity, drag, and friction. And this car probably reduces the drag because of its shape, but being so heavy, the gravity aspect of it is going to work against it, especially if it's racing a lighter car. And we'll see that in action with that fire truck. So go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, find your car, pick your car, and we will race your car. Let's see. So Roughshod was one of 2 viewer picks that were made earlier this week, and because it was made earlier this week, we had a chance to look at the car in the wind tunnel on Wednesday. And the Croc Rod is weighing in at 30.7 grams, so it is a light car. And but it's not so light that there's any concern. And it's usually when cars are in the 20s that we have to start worrying about what's going to happen with them at the back end of the track. But here we have the Croc Rod, which is the crocodile themed race car, and we put it in the wind tunnel, and it was interesting because when the air went over the center part of the car, it just pretty much streamed as you would expect, just right over the top, right to the back. Perfect. But with this car, we moved the car slightly to the side to see how the air flowed around these side parts. And then there was a little more turbulence. The airflow wasn't as smooth because there's these gaps and places where the air has to make a determination. It hits this kind of engine part on the side, and is it going under, over, around? And we saw a little detachment of the airflow and some turbulence. So we're going to find out pretty soon when that car hits the track what exactly is going to happen. Your guess is as good as mine, but we don't have to guess because we're going to find out what's going to happen with the airflow in the back. But really, is the air even going to get into this area? I don't think so, because this part is not opened up. It's all closed off. So we'll see what happens. I think the air will pretty much do what it did in the wind tunnel. It will tail off here and probably create that area of lower pressure, which, it's hard to tell what's going to happen with this car. I like the fact that it's got the bigger wheels at the back, smaller wheels at the front, but not those little disc wheels. Those disc wheels are a guarantee that you're going to be finishing in second place. So we've got the Croc Rod. Also important with this one is that the back end, that tail, it's not sticking out as far as these two exhausts in the back, and those are the parts that will be pressing up against the launching block. So that's going to should give it a good solid push, and there's no reason that I see why this car shouldn't do well. And as a matter of fact, in looking at it, these may be faster than ever wheels. If that's the case, then that means that the axles are nickel plated, and that should reduce that friction and allow this car to move faster. I would have to check to see if that's what these are, but if they are, then this should be good for the Croc Rod. The other user car, viewer car that was selected was the I always get this backwards. The Roborace Robocar. And I believe this is actually a real car that was designed for some competition to, I don't remember if it was like autonomous cars or what the thing was, but I'm pretty sure this is their actual car. The Roborace Robocar. It weighs in at 27.4 grams. So this is a weight that is concerning, because cars that are in that range of the mid to high 20s tend not to do well at the back end of our track. Usually if a car is that light, drag is going to begin to slow the car down at the back end, and we've seen it multiple times, and with this car we could see it again. However, this car's profile is so low, there's nothing sticking up that is going to impede the airflow at all, and it's got all these interesting openings. So right in the front, this is open, so in theory you would think the air should flow through there, come through here, adhere to the body of the car, and then there's an opening here as well, here and in the back, flow right through there, through the back, and right to the top of this giant diffuser. It's not exactly what we saw when we put it in the wind tunnel. In the middle of the car, the airflow was fine. When we pushed it to the side to get the airflow, to check the airflow here, what we saw is the air came through here, but then it just sort of tailed off. It didn't stick to the body. There was no Coanda effect where the air follows the path of this kind of curved surface, and the air did not flow right through as I thought that it might. And maybe that's because this area here is not completely open. There are some things in there. There's a little metal piece here. There's some plastic elements. Then you have the axle for the car. So perhaps all of those things in there disrupted the airflow and it just kind of tailed off here. So what that's going to do in terms of pressure drag and the overall speed of this car, I don't know. But I think this has a good shot to do well because it is very light, but it also has such a low profile. It may make it to the finish line before we start to see that significant drop off in speed that we usually see from cars that are this light. So 27.4 grams. This is the Roborace Robocar. So we've got the Roborace Robocar. We've got the Croc Rod. We've got the Scania P 360 Firetruck. We've got the 68 El Camino. We have the Subaru BRZ. And we have the Hako Type D. So we have our cars, our lineup for today ready. All of the cars that are going to try and take on and take out the BlitzSpeeder. As we said before, that is a tall order, but you never know what can happen, which is why we always take the cars to the track. If I had to pick right now, I think this Roborace Robocar, because it's light, I mean that's not ideal, but it's so low that I'm thinking it's got a shot. It's got a shot to be really fast on the track. I don't know. That Croc Rod has a little more weight than this one, about 3 more grams of weight, putting it closer to where the kind of ideal spot is. So it'll be interesting. That Hako Type D and the Subaru, I don't know. I just think those are just going to be kind of average performers, but we might see something special from either the Croc Rod or this Roborace Robocar. So we are about to find that out. But just in case you're watching this at some point and this is your first time viewing an all about aerodynamics at the track live race, here is what you are about to see. You are going to see our 3 camera view of the track, and the cars are going to start racing at the top of the screen on the left. At the launcher, I am going to give a countdown: 3, 2, 1, race. Hit the switch. The cars are going to come firing out of the launcher from top to bottom. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, and then they are going to show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They're going to come from top to bottom. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, and they are going to show up at the top of the screen on the right. Our finish line camera, they are going to come from top to bottom. They're going to cross the finish line, and the car that finishes first will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light will indicate the winning car, and a flashing red light indicates the losing car. Our races are best 2 out of 3, so after each race we will switch lanes and we will race the cars again, and the first car to take 2 races will move on. All the cars will race, and at the end of the day we will have 1 tournament winner, and that tournament winner will have the opportunity to face the BlitzSpeeder for the fastest in fleet crown. Now, if a car crashes, which happens, if a car crashes and leaves the track, then we simply throw out the results of that race and restart it. But the key in that sentence was "and leaves the track." If a car crashes but does not leave the track, so it goes on its side, it flips upside down, it does anything, it crashes, but it doesn't come off of the track, well, then that's unfortunate, but that just counts as a loss. In order to get a restart, the car has to crash and leave the track. So if your car crashes or the car you're rooting for crashes, you want it to leave the track. You don't want it to do any kind of cool stunt and end up sliding down the track on its roof. That's not what you want. You want it to leave the track. So that is that. We have our cars. We have the track set up. And now all that's left to do is race the cars. So we are going to be heading over to the track. And I will see you there in 30 seconds. We have everything set up. Now I am just going to check and test, just double check the audio. 1, 2, yep, we're good. All right, we have our cars ready to go. We have that giant, I mean, it's not even from a size perspective that big. It's just heavy, that Firetruck. But it will be, having that Firetruck in the fleet is going to be good because it will allow me to show students that, you know, why weight. It will lead to a discussion about why the weight of the car matters. And let's see, we are going to go with, we've got the Roborace car, the Croc Rod, the giant Firetruck, the El Camino, the Hako, and the Subaru. And let's go ahead and go, let's go with the Firetruck and the El Camino. This is just going to be a brutal beating that this Firetruck is about to take. And usually I'm not this confident in the outcome of a race. And actually, I better check the height. Yep, I thought so. So we need to use the taller acrylic cover for this race, this matchup. And because the Firetruck is a taller vehicle, so interestingly, we didn't have to use the taller acrylic cover for the Ain't Fair because it's yes, it's a bus, but it is low and it's dropped, and the fact that it's dropped down a bit actually helped it to be able to use the standard acrylic cover we use to keep the cars on the track at the launch. One thing I am noticing about this Firetruck is it's narrow. It's much more narrow than the Ain't Fair, and that is not going to help. I think that's part of the thing with Matchbox cars is they are more consistently designed to sort of the real life dimensions of the actual cars they're modeled after, where I think Hot Wheels cars are kind of stretched out and widened a little bit to make them look a little cooler. So we have the Scania Firetruck in lane 2, the 68 El Camino in lane 1, race 1. Here we go. This is going to be ugly. All right, here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Huh. That was ugly, but it wasn't ugly for the reason I thought. So the Firetruck is narrow. And what we see with narrow cars and cars that get bad launches is that they bounce around the track. And that Firetruck came out and it bounced on the left side of the track. And then because of Isaac Newton's third law of motion, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, then it bounced over to the right side, then the left side, then the right side, left, right, until it just basically left the track. And it was But I will say this, that the El Camino wasn't beating it by an extreme amount until it got to the point where it was leaving the track. So let's get this set up again. I'm just checking the track to make sure that nothing is... I don't want, when I have these taller cars, I have to double check the tripod on the cameras just to make sure that the cars aren't going to hit those. And let's get them lined up once again. We'll see. So I guess, you know, that Firetruck, put it in there and let it wobble its way down the track. Hopefully it can stay on the track this time. No real guarantees that that's going to be the case, but we'll see. So keep your eye on the Firetruck in lane 2, and the El Camino's in lane 1. But the Firetruck, if it does what it did the last time, you'll see it bounce back and forth because it's just a narrow car and it's heavy. So here we go. Race 1 restart. Three, 2, 1, race. Wow, this time, so the El Camino crashes, but with the El Camino crashing, and the Firetruck ended up upside down, but the El Camino crashing has more to do with the fact that when I used the taller acrylic cover to accommodate a taller car, the normal size car is at a disadvantage. So there's actually something I can do about that I will do. But the Firetruck did exactly the same thing. It rocks back and forth, and then it ultimately crashes. And I don't think there's any reason to think it won't do that again. But since the El Camino crashed, and in order to be disqualified you have to crash twice consecutively, the Firetruck is not in danger of disqualification. Not yet. It's in danger of being extremely slow, but that's about it. All right, let me get this El Camino lined up, situated, and now put this over the top. All right, let's go. Oh, see the El Camino. Wow. I can't. So with the El Camino, it's got that engine sticking up in the back. And because that engine is sticking up, the engine's sticking up a little too high. So I can't use this trick to keep it on the track. So we're just going to have to race these cars and see what happens. All right, El Camino is in lane 1. The Firetruck is in lane 2. Race, this is still the first race, our third restart. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Wow. So the Firetruck actually took the race. Now, it took the race. There's an asterisk. Yes, it took the race, but the El Camino came out of the gate and was kind of up on two wheels, just about to crash, kind of went over the edge of the track, but then righted itself, got back on the track, and completed the race. But by the time it did all of that, the Firetruck had gotten down the track and won the race. So part of that wild launch that the El Camino is getting is because it cannot use the standard Hot Wheels car cover. And so I'm not going to say that it's not fair, but it's going to have a more difficult time at launch than it would if it was just racing another car. And there's not really much that I can do about it for this race. So it's just going to have to work out how it's going to make it down the track. Otherwise, this fire truck will be moving on. So, switch lanes. We've got the El Camino in lane 2. We've got the fire truck in lane 1. And we are ready to go. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Unbelievable. The fire truck took the race. I'm still, it's got that. I don't feel great about that. Just because the El Camino, I don't think got, I don't think it got good launches because of the circumstances. However, who told the El Camino to have a giant engine in the back that stuck up too high? I don't know. But as a result, this fire truck, the 50-gram fire truck, is moving on. So that is the second week in a row that we've had one of these big boys step up and take a race and move to the next part of the tournament. So, all right, that's up. Let's see. We'll just go. We'll go with this Roborace Robocar and the Hako Type D and see what we've got here. Because this Hako Type D, so that's the Hot Wheels Fantasy JDM car, and then this Roborace Robocar, which is the lightest car of the day, but it's also got such a low profile. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here. The design of this Roborace Robocar, it presses right up against the launching block. With the Hako Type D, it also presses up against the launching block pretty well. And we are ready to go. We've got the Hako Type D in lane 1. We've got the Roborace Robocar in lane 2. And we are ready to go. Three, two, one, race. Whoa. All right, that race was extremely close. I had to look at the lights on the finish line in order to see which car came out on top, and that was the Hako Type D. So we have seen that the Roborace Robocar, it didn't look like it slowed down, which is what we have typically seen with cars that are really light, that they slow down towards the back end of the track. But there wasn't anything noticeable. The distance between the cars seemed to be consistent, and I didn't see anything that suggested a slowdown. It's just that this Hako Type D was a fast car. So that was a good, solid race. And we are now switching lanes. So we've got the Roborace Robocar in lane 1. We've got the Hako Type D in lane 2. And we are ready for race number 2. Three, two, one, race. Oh, that Hako Type D. That car was moving that time. Both the cars were fast, but the Hako Type D took the lead at the beginning and never let it up. It never let the Roborace Robocar get back into it. It is moving on along with the Firetruck, and the Roborace Robocar is going to go back into the fleet. And now we're going to look at Roughshod's Croc Rod versus this Subaru BRZ. And the Croc Rod is another of these fantasy cars that's just, it's kind of hard to predict how it's going to perform because it's such a unique car. And we are going to find out right here. It is an open wheel car, so we're going to really keep our fingers crossed that it stays on the track, because we know what happens when open wheel cars come off the track. It is not good. it's the end of their racing careers. But we've got the Croc Rod in lane 2. We've got the Subaru BRZ in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Subaru takes that race, and that was it opened up a lead, and the aerodynamics of the situation, the Croc Rod was never able to close that gap, at least not in that first race. So we are going to see what happens next, because the Croc Rod is going to need to take 2 races in a row, which, as I say all the time, is not uncommon on our track. We see it routinely, that a car loses the first race, comes back, takes the next 2, because there's anything, sometimes cars, even fast cars, just get a bad launch. And if they get a bad launch, then you know, that's gonna spell doom. There's not a lot of chance and time to correct from a bad launch. But now we've got the Croc Rod in lane 1. We've got the Subaru BRZ in lane 2. And this is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. So those cars were pretty close, and just after, like right around the halfway point, the BRZ, the Subaru, started to open up a lead, and I can't tell if that was, again, the drag and the aerodynamics of the Croc Rod slowing it down, or if there was something else going on. But we did see, and we noted with the Subaru, is that the design of it is very similar to some of the other cars that we have seen do well in the past. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But now we've got to switch out the covers, and we're going with the Subaru versus the Firetruck. And we're going to see if the Firetruck can sort of duplicate and replicate its success in that first race. Although I think that El Camino, there were some factors working against it that aren't going to be impacting the Subaru. So we're going to see what happens. But we've got the Firetruck in lane 2. We have the Subaru in lane 1. We are ready to race. Three, two, one, race. And that Firetruck did not lose by a lot. It lost, yes, and that launch seemed sloppy, and I don't know, again, that I don't know that the smaller cars are getting the benefit of the kinds of launches they're used to, that they typically get, because I'm having to use this taller cover. But the Firetruck hung in there. It hung in there for a little while, to the point where there was granted the races are only about 3 seconds long, but there was a moment in there where I thought the Firetruck may actually take the race. So I don't know, it's a little hard to say specifically what's going on in these races without looking at them with a slow motion camera. Also, the Firetruck is narrow, and its wheels are just barely straddling this open. There's an open channel on the launcher, so that the slider can move move through it, and the Firetruck's wheels are almost falling into that channel. So there's a lot going on with this Firetruck, but hey, it's here. This is race number 2. The Firetruck's in lane 1, the Subaru is in lane 2, and we are ready to go. Race number 2. Three, two, one, race. And the Firetruck proceeded to crash, but smartly, wisely, it left the track, which is what it should do, because that guarantees that it will get a restart. And we are going to throw out the results of that as if it never happened. And we are going to line the cars back up again and see if we can get a solid race. It is tough to do because this Firetruck is so narrow. If it was wider, like the Ain't Fair, it would be. I don't know. It might have similar results, but it keeps falling. Like, the wheels are so narrow that it keeps falling down into the channel that is where the cars, and that may account for why it's having these weird shaky launches, because it's getting pushed down into the launch channel, and I'll show you when we go back in the garage what's happening. But this is race what is this, 2? We need to find out, is the Firetruck actually going to be able to beat out this Subaru. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. So the Firetruck lost, but that race was way closer than it had any right to be. And I don't know if that's saying more about the Firetruck or something about the Subaru. So either way, the Subaru is moving on. So we are going to have a finals matchup of the Subaru BRZ against the Hako Type D, and that is going to be fine by me because I can use the standard acrylic cover, and we are going to have a traditional Hot Wheels race. But based on that performance against the Firetruck, I have no confidence in this Subaru. The Hako Type D, granted, we've only seen it race one race. I think the Hako Type D takes this by a mile. Anyway, Hako Type D is in lane 1. Subaru BRZ is in lane 2. This is our finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That race was extremely close, and there I go making predictions. Yes, the Hako Type D won, barely, but it was not the blowout that I expected. I guess the impact of not being able to use the standard acrylic cover in the race between the Subaru and the Firetruck made a difference, because the Subaru in the races where it's used the acrylic cover has looked good. It's only been in the races with the Firetruck where it had to use the taller acrylic cover that doesn't help smaller cars. That's the only time it looked slow and crashed and had other issues. So we're switching lanes. The Hako Type D is in lane 2. We've got the Subaru BRZ in lane 1. This is race number 2. Subaru needs to take 2 in a row. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. I mean, that race really did come down to the wire once again, but the Hako Type D took the race and is today's tournament winner. It is a new car that was introduced into the fleet today. It is the JDM Fantasy car, and it is now going to have the honor of taking on the BlitzSpeeder for the fastest in fleet title. And we are going to see how fast the Hako Type D truly is. Now, it was going nose to nose with the Subaru, and the Subaru lost a race to a Firetruck. So I don't know what that means for this next race, but the BlitzSpeeder's lined up in lane 1. Hako Type D is lined up in lane 2. We are ready to go with our fastest in fleet matchup. Hako Type D in lane 2. BlitzSpeeder, our fastest in fleet champion, in lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. BlitzSpeeder opened it up. I would say right after they passed the first camera position, the BlitzSpeeder just opened up the gap, and it was never really close at all. And if you've watched on Wind Tunnel Wednesday, then you probably know why. You already know why the BlitzSpeeder is the car and is our champion. We've seen with the aerodynamic profile that it keeps drag to a minimum, and ultimately that allows it to maintain more of its speed toward the back end of the track compared to some of the other cars. But the Hako Type D has an opportunity, but does it really? It's got to win 2 races against the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is not likely to lose a race, but anything can happen. But based on the results of that first race, I don't see it happening. But here we go. This is the finals, the fastest in fleet championship. We've got the Hako Type D in lane 1. We've got the BlitzSpeeder in lane 2. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Same situation. The BlitzSpeeder, the cars were kind of close until about that first camera position, until they passed through the first camera position, which is right about here. And after that, the BlitzSpeeder just continues on, while the Hako Type D just fell further and further behind. And that's exactly what we see with a lot of cars that challenge the BlitzSpeeder. So we are now looking at the BlitzSpeeder once again being our fastest in fleet champion, our fastest in fleet car. But we are going to let's have one more bonus race, which is, I've got the Ain't Fair here. And I want to see the Ain't Fair against the Firetruck, because that Firetruck is it wobbled its way down the track. It won its first race against it knocked off the El Camino, and that was something that was a little unexpected. not a little unexpected, a lot unexpected. But there was a lot going on with the El Camino and whether or not it was going to, because it couldn't use the acrylic cover, it's kind of at a disadvantage. But this Firetruck, hey, it showed up and performed. So we're going to see what happens. We've got the Firetruck in lane 2. We've got the Ain't Fair, the bus from last week, in lane 1. So this is Firetruck versus bus, the big boys only race right here. Just a little bonus race. So Firetruck, lane 2, Ain't Fair, lane 1. Three, two, one, race. And that Firetruck, I'm thinking if the Firetruck didn't wobble around the track so much, it could probably win one of these races. It lost this one, but there's so much movement on the track with that Firetruck that it is, it's funny. It's funny to me that it's as heavy as it is, but yet it still somehow manages to make it down the track and, do its thing. So we have that. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Your Roborace Robocar, it did race, but it lost to the Hako Type D, the car that was just in the finals matchup against the BlitzSpeeder. It was a pretty fast car. The races were kind of close, and for anyone who's missed anything, right after we finish up here, the video is available on our YouTube page, and you can watch the replays. And then in about an hour or two, I will have added in the time code, so then you can just jump to whichever part of the episode you want to see. So we've got the lane switch. We've got the Ain't Fair in lane 2. We've got the Firetruck in lane 1. And we are going to see if the Firetruck can stay on the course, just stay straight. Stay on the course, stay straight, and possibly take a race from the Ain't Fair. So here we go. Race number 2, Firetruck, lane 1. Ain't Fair, the bus, lane 2. Bonus race, race 2. Here we go. The Ain't Fair decided to roll away from the launching block. So I've got to reset it. It is still not staying in position. There we go. 3, 2, 1, race. And it did it. The Firetruck stayed straight and didn't wobble around as much and took that race. So now we're going to a third and final bonus race where we are going to see the Firetruck, the 50-gram Firetruck, take on the Ain't Fair, the surprise hit of last week. And we're going to see which of these two big boys comes out on top. This Firetruck, this may be, the funny part may be that this Firetruck may end up being our best performing Matchbox car of all time. At this point, it's right up there with that Bugatti. So here we go. We're going to see if we can get this Firetruck. I think the key for the Firetruck is, can it get a good launch where it stays straight on the track? If it can do that, it's got a shot. It's got a serious shot. All right, this is race number 3, our bonus race. We have the Ain't Fair in lane 1. We have the Firetruck in lane 2. It is 1 race to 1, and whichever of these big cars takes it. This will be the big boy, the heavyweight championship, at the track champion or whatever. We'll come up with a name later, but this is the third race. Firetruck lane 2, Ain't Fair lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh. That was arguably the wobbliest race that we have ever had on the track. Both cars at one point or another looked like they were going to come completely and totally off the track, and it really just wasn't even it was just wild. And to say that the Ain't Fair won, but it won, yes, but it really wasn't I mean, it wasn't a definitive win. It wasn't graceful, but you know what? Whether you win by an inch or a mile, you still win, and that is that. So let me grab up these cars and head back into the garage, and we'll take a look at the winners, the losers, and what's coming up. So I don't think it's a surprise to anyone at this time that the BlitzSpeeder remains our fastest in-fleet champion. It just wasn't that Hako. The Hako Type D was fast, and it represented well in the races that it had, but taking on the BlitzSpeeder, there's just a whole different level that it requires. And I think we're with Wind Tunnel Wednesday, we are able to see exactly some of the reason why the BlitzSpeeder is so dominant. And I think the fact that we keep seeing the BlitzSpeeder doesn't lose speed toward the back end of the track. And at this point, based on all the observations and seeing it in the wind tunnel and all of that, we have to assume, and it's becoming less of an assumption every week, that the BlitzSpeeder is able to reduce the amount of drag. We see that airflow just right over the top. And yes, drag is working against the BlitzSpeeder, but it reduces the amount of drag and reduces the impact of that drag so significantly compared to the other cars that it's able to maintain a higher speed further down the track than the other cars. The weight, we already know about the weight. It's at 32.4 grams. And we've had lighter cars, heavier cars, with all kinds of different shapes and sizes and styles. But the only cars that have been even kind of close to competing with the BlitzSpeeder, and in the one case beating it, have been cars that have a similar aerodynamic profile, where that air is flowing right over the hood, the windshield, the roof, off the back of the car without creating significantly more drag. And also the air is not detaching from the body, so it's not creating that pressure drag that's going to end up pulling the car backwards. So the BlitzSpeeder is the car, and every week just confirms that this is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. And until someone finds a car to suggest otherwise, this is right now. This is Hall of Fame. This is AtTheTrack.live, all about aerodynamics. Hall of Fame, first ballot car going in, the BlitzSpeeder, and it will be looking for even more challengers. And I see, okay, Christopher, no, so we can't race the West Coast Flyer today, but if you want to pick it for next week, we can do that. Rough Shot also has his pick in for next week, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see, number 316. So let's see what the Formula Solar. The name is familiar, but a lot of these cars I recognize by sight. Oh, okay. Formula Solar. Yeah, this is almost like a skateboard. It is. I know that this plastic piece can come off because I had a student who it came off and they thought they broke the car or something. So Roughshode's really going out there on a limb. So this one's got all these little skinny disc wheels that we have never seen a car with these wheels do well. So this might be a first. And who knows what the weight of it is. We can tell that the bottom of the car is definitely all metal. This is going to be I'm going to go on record as saying I bet this car weighs, I'm going to say 25 grams. I think this is going to be even lighter than the Roborace Robocar, because that one was metal and plastic, but this one with the little disc wheels, and basically it's just maybe it's like a surfboard. I don't know how you classify this, surfboard, skateboard, something. All I know is these little disc wheels, the metal base, the slab, and we're gonna see. It should be interesting. We'll definitely put this one into the wind tunnel on Wednesday and check it out and see what it's, what we can observe. I think there won't be very much. There won't be much drag, but it's that weight. The drag that there is works to slow lighter cars down toward the end. So we're gonna have to see if this car has what it takes. But one car, because you never know until the cars hit the track. But I am going to say the honorable mention of the day absolutely goes to, I don't know why everything, the switcher's taking its time, maybe for dramatic impact and effect, but it's this one. This Firetruck, this Scania P360 Firetruck, was unexpectedly great on the track today. I mean, was it, in terms of its overall, the outcomes of its performance, it beat out the El Camino, and then it did okay against the what was the race in the Subaru or something. And if it hadn't been wobbling back and forth around the track, then it may have had a chance to actually end up in the finals. Who knows? But it did just as well as the Ain't Fair. It won. It beat out a car completely and then challenged another car in the next round. But I'm going to show you here part of what the issue is with this Firetruck. So this is the base of the launcher, and you see it's got this open channel here, And that's because the launching block and the slider has to move through this channel to push the cars out. Well, the problem that the Firetruck kept running into is that the wheels are so narrow that they kept falling into this channel. So I'd go to line it up, and you can kind of see here that if it's not, even when it's lined up perfectly, you can still see that half of the wheel is still hanging out above that channel. And if it moves off just a little bit, now the wheels are going to fall into the channel, and it's going to bump when it comes out. And that is why this thing, if I hold it this way, if I hold it right here, you can see what kept happening. Like, it has to be lined up absolutely perfectly right there. And with just a little bit of a push one way or the other, the wheels slip into the channel. And when that happens, then the car dips down, it hits, it bumps. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it was moving around so much. And if you compare that to the Ain't Fair, you see how wide the Ain't Fair is versus the Firetruck. So the Firetruck's here, the Ain't Fair is here, and you see that what just happened with the Firetruck and it falling into that gap it can't happen with the Ain't Fair, because the Ain't Fair is too wide and there's not a lot of play. So even for the Ain't Fair to in the track, it can't move any more than that. Whereas this Firetruck can move a lot, and that's what we saw. Is this thing just bounced down the track, and it went down the track, and it was bouncing left and right and back and forth. And in that last race, both of these were bouncing around, but the Ain't Fair had the ability to straighten itself out and get the job done and win the race. But this Firetruck, honorable mention. So the last 2 weeks, we've had these heavyweights, these big boys come in here and really overperform on the track. Did they take the whole race? No. But these have been two of the more impressive cars, especially at the weight. This thing is 50.7 grams. And when it can stay straight, it has a shot. But it's just so hard for it to maintain a straight line. But I do think that, I guess that is the difference with the Matchbox cars, is that the dimensions are more exact to what they are on real cars, where Hot Wheels tend to be stretched out and a little more exaggerated because it looks cooler. So that is that. All right, so we had some interesting outcomes. Got more cars introduced into the fleet. Roughshod has possibly locked in his pick for next week, and Christopher might go with the West Coast Flyer possibly next week. And on Wednesday, we will be up here, Wind Tunnel Wednesday, and we'll be able to put these cars into the wind tunnel and see exactly how the air flows over, under, and around them, look at their aerodynamic profiles, and find out and make an assessment of how much we think drag will impact the cars on the track. We'll take a look at the BlitzSpeeder, which is the gold standard for aerodynamics. And we'll also take a look at the Formula Solar to see how this board on wheels, what's up with the airflow around that one. Although I think it's going to be the weight that's probably going to do that car in, but we'll find out. And probably also throw in that Subaru and any other cars that you pick. So that's Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. That is every Wednesday on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And you can follow us on Instagram at AA Aerodynamics. And if you want more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics. All you have to do is go to aaerodynamics.com, or you can go to the Instagram account and find all the information and links that you need right there in the bio. So, good races. Can't wait. We're going to introduce more cars. I've got plenty in storage. We're creeping up on the 100th episode, so I should figure out something special to do for that. But if you want to watch any of the old episodes, all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel. I know most people end up watching, not live, but after the fact. That's just fine. I'll put in time codes so you can jump to whichever part of the episode you want to watch. And if you do decide that you want to pick a car to race, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car, find the car, take that number, you'll drop it in the chat next week, and I will pull the car and we will race the car. It's just that simple, just that easy, and it's a lot of fun. We're still looking for that car that can challenge and beat the BlitzSpeeder. Maybe you're the person who can find it and pick it. Maybe I've got that car somewhere in storage. I don't know, but we'll be here next week to find out and go over it. So for At The Track Live, I am Coach James. For Wind Tunnel Wednesday, I am Coach James. And for All About Aerodynamics, I am Coach James. And until next time, I will see you at the races.